said, empty your mind.
Hey everybody, it's Master Wahnish here, and I just wanted to wish you and yours a happy Easter. I hope everybody is safe and well, and I welcome you to today's video. This is a very special video, a very unique video, where I had a Zoom session with a bunch of my Kung Fu students. Now, I sent out a text message to about 20 students or so, and I asked them if they could join me on Zoom. It was a little last minute. Some couldn't make it, and some could, but had to leave before I could, start recording at the end. And we just had a really great conversation. It was really great catching up with the Kung Fu family. Now, I simply asked some of the students if they could just share an experience from the training or just anything about the art of Wing Chun that they really love. And some really personal and wonderful things were said. And once again, my sincere thanks to all the students for what they said and for allowing me to share this video with everybody. I hope you enjoyed today's video. And do me a favor before I get started, everybody hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, 1-inch punch that bell notification, and give the video a thumbs up if you can. Be safe, be well, and I'll see you tomorrow for another Wing Chun training video. I hope you enjoy this Zoom session with my students. All the best. Whoever wants to go next can pick up the mic.
Well, one of the times that I remember, and I've spoken about with my wife on numerous occasions. I'm 62. I've been interested in the martial arts since I was 10 years old. So I've looked at a variety of different programs, different styles. I've trained with a variety of different teachers, and always money was a big issue. I remember that I became unemployed at the College of New Rochelle. And I came and I asked, I was depressed. I came to the Kwun and I just sat there. And Sifu came over and we started talking, and I explained to him what the situation was. And he said, well, you know what, just come on, get on the floor. And I said, yeah, but no, not right now. And he sensed that a little pride jumped in there. He said, look, come on, get on the floor. Let's work out. And I trained with the school for about 2 or 3 weeks. And it was wintertime, and we had a blizzard. And Chris will remember this because he drove from Yonkers downhill. If you remember, Chris, you were telling me about the ice. But Chris said, well, he went to Sifu, and Sifu gave him the keys to the Kwun, and it was a snowstorm.
Yeah.
And Chris and I went to the Kwun, and we trained that day. Right. So it wasn't about the money; it was about his students.
Yeah.
He saw the enthusiasm that we had. He saw the desire to train. He saw this old man who was a little depressed, and he said, come on, get on the floor. Those little things make you a really good teacher, but even a better man.
Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate that. I think I got that from my Sifu. It's all about Kung Fu family more than, anything else. So we're all family. Cool.
No question. Yeah, to add, I'll just say, like, the time that I was at the school, I think for me it's so big in my life because I joined with my son.
Hoorah.
And I don't know if you remember, Sifu, but my son had an interest in Wing Chun, and I was just sitting there at the classes, and you said, well, man, you here, why don't you might as well join too. And from what I had seen, the way you was with him and the way you was with everyone else, I was like, okay, why not? And, for that time period, it really brought me closer to my son. And it was great timing, prior, I don't know if you guys remember, but, I got divorced from my wife,
Right.
After that. So that time period that I had with my son meant a lot. And I want to say this, I really believe that kind of it basically put bookends with my wife, and I think that's why she gave me custody of my son. Like when that happened, it was like, he should be with you. I think how me and my son were so close, and the reason why we were so close at that time is not only the time we had together in your school, but the brothers that were at the time. Everybody there, like you said, Sifu, it's a family,
Yes.
And I felt it, my son felt it, we all felt it, and thank God I had it. Thank God. Thank God we all had it, you know?
Well, I'm glad to hear that. It was, an honor working with all you guys, and I always love seeing like fought like Scott and Ezra, and you and your son. It was like George and his sons. I mean, it's just such a great thing. You just
Yeah.
can't beat that. Can't beat that.
Yeah.
Well, I wanna add something if that's all right. So it's funny. I met Sifu in a coffee shop, but before I get to that, there's a coffee shop right next to the school. But before I get to that, I was in that time in my life just consumed with fear. I had just gotten out of a divorce, and I'd gone through most of my childhood and my teenage years and my early 20s just consumed with fear. And fear is one of these things that I can't wish it away. I can't logic it away. I can't think it away. It's so core that you can't just make it go poof. You have to take away the uncertainty that underlies the fear. And one of the things that I talked to John about, we were in a coffee shop, and we just met, and we hit it off right away because I'm very talkative. John or Sifu, you were a conversationalist too, and we just started going at it about a bunch of stuff, technology, computers, and I remember at that time I was thinking, I want to try to figure out how to defend myself. There's a capoeira school, and you were sharing space with the capoeira school on alternating days, and I was I was ready to just go straight yana on our way, just the whole just start doing flips and shit, and hey, why don't you just cut? That sounds great, it's capoeira's off, but why don't you come, check out the class? I think you'd really dig it. And that was cool. And just coming into the space and being these are my people, everybody that was in that class. It was just the chillest, calmest, and I didn't come from a martial arts background. I wasn't out there fighting, boxing, whatever. So it was my first dive into any self-defense really was Wing Chun at your school.
Right.
And I think the thing that it gave me, because I was a ball of fear, and I did actually, I asked you, we were walking around the gate in the apartment complex, the building next door, and I remember saying I'm just so afraid of ever being in a fight. I'm terrified of ever having to fight ever, it's just the most terrifying thing ever. I don't think I could ever do it. If I ever had to, I think I would just freeze up. Sorry about that. Hold on a second. I think I would just freeze up. And it's my garage light. I think I would just freeze up, and I don't think I'd survive it. I'm terrified. I'm completely, overwhelmingly terrified of the idea of ever having to be in a fight. And you're yeah, a year or whatever, you'll be fine. Don't worry, it's okay. It takes a little time, but you don't worry about it. You'll get to the other end, and I feel like I got to the other end of that, and I got to the other end of that through the school. I got to the other end of that with your specific approach to the training, wherever, whether you got that from your Sifu or not. I got that from the way that you taught me and you taught your class, and the way that you encouraged questions and the open forum and the structure and the foundation and the rooted nature of every single thing, and the constant freedom to question every specific detail, and the constant perfectly tightly knit, well-factored, just right there answers that you had to the question. They were just because, your face is open.
Right.
There were always answers because then your arm is broken, or then, because then look, and I have your arm. And it's just, there's always there's always that simple answer, and the simplicity of it, and the simplicity of all the answers that you provided, and the lessons that you taught, I think are the reason why my fear went away. It didn't go away right away. It started to melt away, and it was chipped away at by every single explanation you provided, and every week, every day, week, month of training and practice that went into building in the muscle memory to get that stuff down, built like this foundation of trust, you know. And when you say, when Sigang says, and when everybody in the class says, trust your Kung Fu, I really understand what that, I at least understand what that means to me now, you know, but I see how important that is, that you trust your Kung Fu, not just in fighting, but everywhere else. Like, what, you know, are you really sitting on a bedrock, a foundation in the way that you're thinking about whatever the problem is you're trying to solve? So,
well put.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go next then.
Just real quick, I might just have to grab my son, so keep talking. Just 1 second. Let me just grab him. Just 1 second. Caitlin, is he okay?
I'll just keep talking then. So when I came to Wing Chun, I had already had experience in martial arts. I had experience in Taekwondo. I had a black belt. But even though I was really good at Taekwondo, I still felt like there was something missing in my martial arts. I guess, you know, skills. And when I came to Wing Chun, I really found like it really rounded me out more. And it rounded out my martial arts philosophy more. I did have some fears still in me, even though I was already a black belt. I was still afraid of meeting someone who could match that. Meeting someone who was bigger and stronger. But Wing Chun gave me some methods to handle people who were bigger and stronger than me. And I was really fortunate to be in a school where everyone was bigger and stronger than me. And because of that, it helped me to handle that fear and be more comfortable that I could handle myself, even though I was a smaller person. And so it really rounded out my philosophy. It rounded out my skills. And then when the school closed down and we kind of went different ways, my kids got to an age where they were old enough to start training. And naturally they went into Taekwondo like I started out with Taekwondo. But when the school invited me to join classes, I found that I was like 10 times better than what I was when I left Taekwondo because of my Wing Chun training. Wing Chun rounded me out. It helped me find balance, it helped me find better sensitivity, better philosophy of what's happening in the moment. I felt more rounded out from Wing Chun. So I felt like it really, it just took what I knew and made it even better. And so I'm really grateful for the experience. I feel like anytime I need to find myself again, I find myself through the Wing Chun training. So I'm really grateful for it. And I can't wait to teach my kids, you know, because I feel like, especially for the youth, starting off on the right foot, you know, will give them a better future. And I feel like it is a great thing for young kids to learn and instill in their philosophy, you know, not just in life, but not just in fighting, but also in life. So
Excellent.
I just want to say that Wing Chun really helped me to round my edges and hone myself in a way that took me beyond where I already was.
Oh, yeah.
And you know,
Nice.
everybody is unique. So some people are bigger, some people are stronger, some people are faster. So everybody's got their own strength and their own weakness, really. So it's about really finding your strength. And Ronald, one of your strengths was your speed. You had an incredible speed, good accuracy. So it really didn't matter if somebody's bigger, stronger. You have the skill set necessary to do what you had to do, and you have great speed. So you know, you're able, with good skill and good speed, and making your strengths your strength, right? And really understanding what your strengths are and just using them to your best ability, then you can be successful no matter what. So I think that's just an important thing for everybody to realize what your strengths and weaknesses are, and you know, and that you had great speed. I remember you were really fast, so it's good. It's a good thing to have, right? So, and if you're still training with other people, you know, remember, you know, you apply your Wing Chun, your speed, you know, and you can overcome people's strength because we're not relying on size, strength, force against force, all those things, right? So, excellent.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I'll share next. So before I started Wing Chun, I went through a time, I was going through a difficult time where I was like depressed, and I was handling that the worst way possible at the time. And let's say I even got into some legal problems. And after that time went by, I realized that, hey, I used to do martial arts when I was like my late teens into my early 20s, and then I stopped. But I had always wanted to do Wing Chun because I was a big Bruce Lee fan. So, you know, I looked up online while I was at work one day, and Sifu's website comes up. So I said, all right, let me check it out. And ended up being a great decision because one of my biggest takeaways were the principles. So like one of the principles that Sifu shared with us was take control of your life. And that got stuck in my head because at the time I wasn't happy where my career was. I was like a slave to my job. So that got stuck in my head. And every time I was at work, like, why am I here? Like, I'm miserable here, you know? Like I remember Saturdays, sometimes during was busy season, I had to go to work and miss class. So I got to a point where, like, you know, I want to be in control again of my life. And this is not happening. So that got me in the direction where, okay, I stopped addressing my problems the way I used to. And it got me focused more into fitness. It got me focused more into like working out again. I was doing that. And I even started behaving differently where, okay, I needed to find a new job. So it got me in that track where I was able to finally get more control of my life. So, and also the other principles, like not fighting, not using negative energy, not meeting negative energy with negative energy, you know, yielding. And it made me a happier person. So, you know, that was a big takeaway. One of the biggest things I'm happy from Wing Chun. And I was even able to, like, after the school closed, I was able to apply those principles, even where I study Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I've been able to take a lot of those principles and apply them. And I feel it's helped me survive, you know, especially when I first joined, when I was a white belt. Even till now, whenever I go against more experienced guys, I feel like, okay, especially the chi sao and like, you know, redirecting energy and everything like that helped me a lot because, you know, I could feel something coming. I can't tell what it is because, you know, I'm still learning that art, but it helps me put myself into a position where, okay, I can try to defend myself, redirect it, and try to apply my own technique. So for that, you know, and I still do it now, you know, even try to carry it into life, which Sifu taught us a lot about. So for that, thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, I guess I'll go next then. Well, in terms of memories, the number one that has to stick out in my mind, Sifu, would be when me and Tyrone were at your house for a private lesson, and we were studying I think it was the Bong Lop drill. I can't really remember, but in order for us to improve, you went into we were in your garage. You went into this pile of stuff. I can't really remember, and you pulled out something, and I had no idea what it was. I thought it was like some plastic knife or something, and when you turned this dial on the blade, it turned out to be this taser knife. And I still remember the electricity crackling and that blue light every single time I shock myself with static electricity. That's all I picture now. It's just you turning around with that blade in your hand, just waving it around at us, trying to make us perform better, or you'll electrocute us. and even though that was technically, even though I've sparred with you, I sparred once in my Muay Thai class. I saw the skills that I learned in Wing Chun coming really handy in my Muay Thai class. After 2 weeks, my Muay Thai instructor told me that he wanted me to come spar, and he said that he normally waits with people a lot longer. So even though I was still out, it still stuck with me, and that's what I really liked. So even though technically having a taser knife getting swung around you is scary and terrifying, it seems like that fear is actually somewhat good in a way. Like it helps to ingrain it in you, and it helps you to overcome future obstacles down the road. And in my opinion, that's just really amazing. So seriously, thank you.
I got it right back over there. It's on the shelf right behind me.
You still have it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I can't wait. Show it to me, please.
Great.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I like to keep it close by, you know. Might be out of battery juice right about now, but
I'm gonna have to leave, guys. This has been
Miguel.
therapeutic. Thank you.
Good seeing you, man.
Thank you.
Good to
Glad
see
to
you
hear
again,
it, man.
bro.
Glad to
You
help.
guys, please be safe. Take care of yourselves and your families. Sifu, send me that link so that I can tap into your online classes, please.
definitely.
And let's do this again, please.
Definitely.
We still got Scott and Ezra. We're gonna hear from them, but if you got to get going,
Yeah, I gotta
Yeah,
go.
I do have to go, but
All right,
guys,
Miguel.
please
Take
take care of
care.
yourselves.
take care,
All right,
Miguel.
man.
Great
Take it
seeing
easy,
you.
Take care, man.
Adios, guys. I gotta head out as well.
All right,
Later,
Ronald.
Ron.
We'll
All right,
see
see
you,
you,
man.
Ronald.
Take care, Ron.
Yeah, sorry I couldn't light up the knife for you. It's I took the battery out of the microphone over here, so
It's all
I'm at
right.
9 volts. Sorry.
It's okay. Next time.
All good. All right. I guess I'll go next. I think the most memorable thing for me, I started up at with Wing Chun when I was like 8 or 9 years old. Probably 7 years old actually. I was young. I went to the kids class. I remember that I enjoyed it off the bat. It was really cool. And as time went on, I eventually remember my dad telling me, "Hey, Sifu says he wants you to try out the adult class." When I was like 8 years old, and I was thrilled. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so pleased! I want to go and try it." And then I went, and I started going to the adult classes every Wednesday. I think wasn't it Wednesday, Dad, or something like that? Yeah.
Mondays and Wednesdays, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Something along those lines. But it really introduced me to like a whole new world because it's like changed my perception. It led me to like have a deep affection for the martial art and the community, like, and our family in general as I went up like through my years. And especially now in college, it is dawning on me how much I miss it, because I used to have like exposure to it every single week. Like I would go to it every week. I would be able to train. I would be able to learn from some of the best, and it was really cool, like to be able to gain their experience. But now I'm at college and I'm alone, like metaphorically alone, like from all that Wing Chun. So it's like, or it's not really available. So it really dawned on me how much Wing Chun has really impacted my life, and how much like the family has really shaped me, because it really has, like, it actually gave me a trajectory on how I would grow up, how I would view like maturity, how I would learn, and who I would learn from. And it really gave me an impact, and I definitely miss it now that I'm on my own, and I'm considering like what to do next and how to train on my, like, train at different places, because I know it's not going to be the same as the Kung Fu family that I was introduced to like at 7 years old.
Well, I think you should keep it up. Keep doing what you got to do. You know, it's always new experiences out there to be had. So, and while you're locked up at home, you have access to the online training program still?
I think so.
Okay, so take advantage of that if you can, and grab if there's anybody you're quarantined with, maybe you can have them punch you in the face. So, I know if anybody's quarantined with somebody, they're probably ready to punch you in the face, right? So,
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, we could all.
Get it out of our system.
Yeah. Excellent. Scott, you want to say something?
Yeah, Sifu, I was just thinking about the idea of generosity, and it really is layered in a big piece of what's helped me to love training in this art. I think the first is your generosity. You know, I've seen you at various stages in your life, partly on the periphery, but partly where you're coming off of whatever horrendous day or chaos that you've been facing. And I've watched you intentionally drop that and leave it at the door and come in as the best version of yourself, giving away 110% to each of us who were in the room training with you. And that drew me not only to you, but to your class. And that generosity then extended to my son. You know, Ezra was young when he started coming, and all of you welcomed him. And I wanted him to grow up. I didn't grow up in a great situation, so I wanted Ezra to grow up around with more male models than just me, who had a positive influence in his life. And that definitely happened through your spirit of generosity and through the class's generosity. And then when we had to leave New York, which was a sad moment to be able to, you know, have to leave the training and so forth, you introduced us to your, you know, extended Kung Fu family and Qigong, and in turn they became a family we met with weekly, and the generosity continued. So I think generosity is a big piece of it. The other thing that I think is important is the whole trust your Kung Fu piece. I think that part of my life, you know, I'm a pastor, and part of my life is, you know, a major part of my life is to think about trusting something beyond yourself, not your own strength, but a strength beyond yourself that you can rely on. And if you trust in your own strength, you're not doing well. It doesn't go well. But if you trust in the strength beyond yourself, it goes well. And there's a mirror in Wing Chun that's like that, where you trust the Kung Fu. You trust. There have been multiple times. Somebody mentioned fear earlier. There have been multiple times where even now, where I'm still trying to work through fear, however it's developed in my life, through Wing Chun. And it's been a great vantage point from which to view it, because it doesn't, there's no need to do that. When I'm afraid, I'm afraid I'm holding on to something. I'm afraid it's going to be taken away from me, right? Whether it's my own strength or my own power or whatever. When I'm relying on the system, I don't have to worry about my own strength. It just works. And there's a beauty to that. So the generosity coupled with trust your Kung Fu has been very foundational for me and my family. Ezra's right here.
Excellent. Yeah, I appreciate that. That's great input there. I mean, I think in times like we're at now, you know, there's unknown pandemic in the air, and it's like, you know, they're telling us we're all going to get this thing eventually, and we're seeing what's happening. Some people it's fine, and some people aren't. So it's kind of good to have a skill set to be able to handle fear, right? Because if you're just go around, you know, too fearful all the time, then you're creating a lot of stress in your body and a stressful environment, and that's beating up your immune system. And you know, right now we need to have strong immune systems, and of course it's all easier said than done, but you know, having some skill set to be able to, you know, adapt and you know, face fear, you know, and like take control of your life, and not really, you know, there's a lot of us are dealing with financial hardships, and you know, it's out of our control. So not, you know, not letting that. I was just talking to Sifu today and telling him, you know, something he told me is if it's, you know, not in your control, then don't let it get to you, you know. So, you know, losing income, and it's the first time in my life I'm not really stressing over finances. I'm happy to have a healthy family, and we're all in good shape at the moment, and just trying to keep everybody happy and healthy. And I know the time will come where we can make more money. But right now, don't stress over something that I have no control over, right? So the kids are here. Somebody's got to stay with the kids, and, you know, so it's a little bit stressful. Wife is having to stay at a hotel due to, you know, the fact that she's treating COVID patients, and, you know, so it's, you know, got to just adapt and do what you can. But great stuff, guys. Great stuff.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, from everybody. Seriously, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
good.
was gonna say the simplicity of movement, the kind of like the next small step. I'm finding myself now when I'm stressed out about, you know, job stuff. I was made a verbal offer for a job, and I was laid off in November. Made a verbal offer for a job, and before they could give me the actual offer, they canceled all of their job recs because of COVID. So I'm sitting here waiting for a month now, you know, and having to kind of start from scratch and do that process over. And it's funny, the simplicity of movement, that like next smallest step thinking, like what's the next smallest step? What's the smallest step within the realm of your safety, has kind of helped me to not try to think too much about tomorrow, the next day, but to think about what's immediately in front of me. And it's like this bowl of oatmeal. You know, like there's this bowl of oatmeal in front of me, and my kids are sitting there watching TV. Okay, you know, and then that's good. That's my next smallest step. And then what's the next smallest step after that? Cleaning this dish once I'm done eating this bowl of oatmeal. You know, like that's something that the Wing Chun definitely gave me. You know, and it just feels connected to what you were talking about, Scott, and what Sifu was just talking about.
Yeah, small steps.
Yeah.
It really does help when you try to not view everything in such a grand scale, so you don't get so overwhelmed.
Yeah. Most definitely.
He said, my daddy's bed wet. He just spilled milk also. He spilled milk in my bed. Now, so my next step is changing him into dry clothes, and then trying to make my bed dry enough to sleep in. So
you got to take it one step at a time.
And Milo, bit your hand. Can you show everybody Tansao? Milo, bit your hand. Can you do a Tansao real quick? Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Tansao is the only hand position he knows, but right now he's doing high five.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
Thank you, Sifu.
Hey guys, it was so good seeing everybody, and we'll definitely do this again.
Oh, yeah.
I really look forward to seeing everybody soon, and everybody stay safe and be well.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so glad you could all make it. It's wonderful seeing everybody. So
it's wonderful seeing you guys too. Seriously.
Great idea.
Safe, everybody stay safe. I know we're all doing the best we can to stay safe. So yeah, there's Max right here. We got Max. Daddy's right here.
Where's mommy?
Well, she'll be home soon, okay?
Where's Titi?
Caitlin's upstairs sleeping. Who else? Can you say goodbye, everybody?
Mommy.
Can you say goodnight, everybody?
Good night,
Bye, everybody. Love you guys.
Good night. Take it easy, y'all.
Take care, man. Thanks so much, guys, for coming. I miss you guys.
Yeah, I miss you all too.
So,
miss you guys.
Everybody. Be well.
All right.
You too, Sifu.
Bye, guys.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.